Hi, my name is Rachelle Smith, certified personal fitness trainer, professional speaker, and author. Last time I talked about the importance of etiquette and how we behave matters in terms of creating a positive fitness environment for others, but also helping to make sure that our own journey is wonderful. Because again, there's so much that we can't control in life, but our etiquette and how we behave is so important in terms of our success and also helping to contribute to a facility's success. So folks, it's so important. This time I wanted to close out this series on the importance of environment by highlighting a dimension of environment that, again, I've got all types of people that tune in here on Fitness Fridays. And so I want to make sure that you're aware. Another way to describe a gym environment is culture. All right. And this doesn't even just apply to fitness facilities. It could be a workplace culture, any type of retail establishment culture. All right. I can get into a whole marketing conversation on branding and how the different layers and what happens inside of a place or outside of a place impact an overall brand. All right, but won't do that. We'll save that for a marketing episode down the road. But folks, culture and environment of a facility is so important. Like I said last time, it can make or break your success, someone else's success, leaders and owners and general managers and assistant managers, your facility success. It's so important, and that's something that you can control. There's so much that we can't control in life, but there are certainly things that we can control. And when I think about gym environment, particularly this episode, gym culture, I want to highlight a couple of examples, and they're pretty well known and inside the fitness industry in terms of what goes on. And the first of which, in terms of establishing a unique culture, is Planet Fitness. Now, okay, Planet Fitness has come in, and taken basically, again, we think about any type of market in any industry, we think about it in a circle, and we can, cut slices of pie and actually diagram that to show market share. Okay, the largest market share in the fitness industry will always be new people who haven't exercised before, people who may have exercised and fallen off the wagon. Again, that novice market is an absolute whale in terms of opportunity and market share potential. All right, so Planet Fitness has gone after that kind of novice market. And are there exceptions? Yes. Will you have fitness fanatics and people like that going to Planet Fitness? Absolutely. But their primary target market is that novice market. All right, and they've done extremely well with that market. And people laugh at the different, Planet Fitness has all these rules and they've got the lunk alarm and they've got all of this. But why is that? From a cultural standpoint, their business and their marketing strategy, again, you're targeting novices who tend to struggle with insecurity, who tend to definitely struggle with fitness motivation, who are more prone to be self-conscious and get intimidated. That's why they brilliantly created that tagline, no gym intimidation, and in their facilities. And they work very hard to protect that. Why? Because people feel uncomfortable, people feel intimidated, people feel inadequate, people are comparing themselves with other people. And so fitness motivation, and particularly among the novice market, is very fragile. So Planet Fitness has come in and really put parameters, policies and procedures, rules, if you will, into place to protect that. All right, they want people coming to their facilities, particularly novices, people that struggle, and they want them to feel comfortable. Why is that? Because if they feel uncomfortable, if they get intimidated, all of this stuff, they are going to leave that facility. Maybe they'll go somewhere else, maybe not, but there's also the huge potential that they will give up on their fitness journey altogether. All right, so that is an example of a culture. Now, from a pricing standpoint, I think Planet Fitness is learning as as I told you on previous episode, a marketing episode, where they used to just have the $10 and then the $19.99 black card models in terms of their membership levels. Okay, but now they've added that middle tier where it's you join the one facility, your local facility, but also there's no commitment on that. The $10 membership has a commitment, so they're learning, much like Valley Fitness learned, that low pricing, that discounting pricing strategy is very difficult to maintain over time. Again, because so much has changed, and our markets have changed, and just what other facilities are charging has changed. And so you've got your average CrossFit facility charging $150 a month, and then you've got, again, a $10 a month membership at a facility. It's just very difficult, and you will need the volume to be extremely large to break even and to maintain and retain profitability. So that's Planet Fitness. That's an example of a unique culture created specifically for novice gym goers, which is the largest market. And I just alluded to, and I have in past episodes, Valley Fitness. Valley Fitness was a very good gym, very good chain. Now, and where Valley Fitness struggled is extremely well, 70s, 80s, 90s, very good reputation. I was a member of Valley Fitness in Miami Beach when I was an intern, when I first moved to Miami. And also when I lived in Dearborn, right before I moved to Novi, and also was a member of the Novi location for about a year and a half before they closed here. And so it's a very, very tough discount when your pricing model. My last year at Bally, I paid $99 for the whole year. And so I remember thinking to myself, that price is lower than Planet Fitness. Wow. But again, that's unsustainable. All right. And so that's why they struggled and they got bought out. But from a cultural standpoint, I mean, it's whether you're the Bally former member or not, that culture was known, was very well respected, was a very social culture, very friendly culture. And one thing that Bally did is they had lifetime memberships. And so we're talking actually, many of us came over from Bally, but we've got people at our gym who were members of Bally for 20 years, 25 years, 30-year members of Bally's. All right, so Bally's, and think about any type of culture. When you're asking people to commit to a lifetime anything, it has to be strong, because it's got to be an environment where people are going to say, I'm happy here, I'm going to stay here for as long as I'm alive or for as long as I can work out. And it takes a lot in terms of building a culture in order to create that. Okay, not only getting people in the door to become members, but getting them to stay members. All right, it's a whole different thing, and there's a whole different aspects and a lot of things that have to go into creating a culture. And as I've stated before, culture is something, can it be changed? If a facility has an environment where there's no accountability and everybody does exactly what they want to do, and then all of a sudden accountability is required, that is very disruptive. That is very difficult to pull off. Can it happen? Absolutely. But it just tends to really shake things up and create a lot of issues when a culture totally shifts like that, because people are resistant to change. And then all of a sudden, if we're not held accountable for anything and now we're being held accountable, okay, well, I'm not happy. In any situation, the workplace and fitness facilities and retail establishments and churches, everywhere, families, that dynamic of change and resisting change is something that is so important. But Bally is an example of culture. And each and every, whether we're talking about a corporate chain, whether it's LA Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, a franchise chain, whether you're talking about, again, your Planet Fitness, whatever, Snap Fitness, 24-hour fitness, Gold's Gym, which has a hybrid model of corporate and franchise. Okay, whatever the case may be, each and every facility has its own culture, okay, and its own environment. A lot of that, many times, is dictated by leadership. Yes, you may be owned by corporate, but who's actually running the facility tends to differ. Now, in corporate facilities, are they perfect? Absolutely not. But one thing you will see in corporate facilities is there's a lot of standardization. Okay, if I go to the Planet Fitness in Plymouth here, in Plymouth, Michigan, or if I go to the Planet Fitness, the LA Fitness, the newly built LA Fitness in Plymouth, Michigan here, or the relatively newly built LA Fitness that's in Evanston, right outside in downtown Evanston, right by Northwestern's campus when I'm in town, a lot of the things are going to be the same because there's standardization. Okay, that's the difference where in franchise models, yes, they have different things that they have to rules and regulations, policies, procedures that they have to follow, but there's not a lot of standardization in terms of how things are done. So there's a lot of variance and variability in terms of what you see among franchises as opposed to corporate. Okay, things tend to be pretty much alike, regardless of where you are in a particular, any type of fast food chain or fitness facility, whatever the case may be. It's a lot of variability. So is any facility perfect? Absolutely not. You heard me tell you that. All right. I had the pleasure last week of doing 2 gym audits, 2 large facilities here in the Metro Detroit area. I've actually got another one scheduled for next Friday. So when I think about these 2 facilities, I can't give away information, but I can share a couple of thoughts. And specifically regarding accountability, and when I think about these 2 facilities or any facility that would undergo an audit process, management, just human nature is not going to invite scrutiny, in what someone is doing. It's just against human nature typically to invite that level of scrutiny in what's going on in evaluation, right? And so these 2 facilities, now management didn't have a clue it was going on. Now these are people without leaders outside of the facility. Now these were 2 private facilities, as is the one next Friday, private facilities that operate like corporate facilities. And so this type of accountability, these type of things and checking and all of this and that and audits, okay, those type of things will happen in a corporate facility. Franchisees, it's questionable because again, there's a lot of variation, but these 2 facilities, highly, highly accountable. But again, it's the people outside of the facility that are essentially holding management accountable. Are things happening the way they should be happening? It's what should be going on really going on. How is management really doing? Why? Because everything within a facility, everything rises and falls on leadership, as John C. Maxwell said. So awesome facilities. I mean, just any facility that undergoes this type of scrutiny, they're going to be on the top of their game. But just wonderful facilities, awesome facilities. And when when I do a gym audit, there's a multitude of different dimensions and criteria that are evaluated. Now, I roll in there. People don't have a clue who I am. I don't wear a suit. I'm wearing workout clothes, working out as usual. I have no headphones on because I need to be present and observing each and everything that's going on in the facility. Okay, what's, are members smiling? What are they doing? What's the energy level? How's the music? Okay, I'm evaluating customer service. How are the people at the front desk? What's going on? What are they doing? Are people just standing around? Or is everybody on their smartphones? Are they texting? Are they on Facebook? What's going on in that particular facility? Inside, cleanliness, outside. What's the condition of the equipment? I mean, there's so many different dimensions. I could spend the next hour talking about what goes on in terms of auditing and what's being evaluated. Trainers, huge, huge, huge portion, because again, apart from leadership, management, ownership, all of that, management team, leadership team, your trainers are your biggest influence in terms of culture, in terms of what happens in the facility. Okay, are they engaged? Are they present with clients? Are they standing around talking? Are they busy? Okay, are they on their smartphones? Do they have their phones? This is a big one, and a lot of facilities actually ban this. Are they on their smartphones when they're with clients? I mean, is a client sitting there doing reps or something, and they're on their smartphone, whatever, checking Facebook? Okay, that's huge. What's going on? Okay, what's the accountability like? All right, what are the trainers' backgrounds? Okay, in one of these facilities, the trainers were coming up to me talking, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You need any help with anything? Why? Because both of these facilities place a great level of weight on guests and on new members. They have a way, I can't disclose how, they have a way to determine who's new, who's a guest, whatever. And there's a particular focus that's placed on these particular individuals. Why? Because the first time someone works out in your facility, the first few days, first few weeks, first few months are important, because why? Fitness motivation is very fragile. And if something happens, negatives, when something said, somebody's, gets called a name, or something gets out of line, out of order, somebody gets stalked or harassed, whatever, they're done. They will never, ever come back to your facility. They will throw in the towel. They will be down the street at your competitor, working out at home, or just giving up on their fitness journey altogether. These two facilities place a great level of emphasis on guests. So I had people, I'm sitting here chatting with the trainers, whatever. They have no idea. Okay, I look like I'm working out, whatever, but I am picking apart this facility piece by piece, layer by layer, including the trainers and what they're doing and what are they telling me. Are they going to try to sell me some program? What's going on? All right, what's going on? All right, but trainers in both of these facilities, it's mandatory bachelor's degree or a master's degree in an exercise related discipline. So they've got their teams, their training teams stacked with people. Why? Because the price of these facilities are much higher, as well as their prices for their training. And once you got that kind of caliber of trainer with that level of education and expertise, they charge more. All right, so evaluating trainers, evaluating cleanliness, what is it, if things out of order, what's the condition of the machines? I mean, there's so many different things. Customer service. Okay, when I call to inquire about, touring the facility, how many times does the phone ring? How long does it take to someone answer the phone? How do they sound when they answer the phone? Do they have to put me on hold and forget about? All of that is criteria. This particular facility places a lot of value, like I said, on guests and wanting to keep them, make them, them join, but also keep them coming back. Okay, something unique happened in this facility. It was very eye-opening for me. Long story short, I'm almost about to leave my second facility. So here I am doing my last set. And so I was actually on a cable machine. So I'm in the cable weight machine area. For those who don't know, there tends to be kind of, one cable machine can have 3 or 4 different ways that you can utilize the machine. I want to keep it basic for those of you who are fitness novices who don't work out yet. And so I'm on this machine, and there's actually a young guy. I mean, he's probably in high school or just maybe even in college, comes and gets right next to me. And so, hey, no problem. I've been in gyms forever, whatever. I'm not using any music. I'm observing what's going on. But again, like I told you, they're employees and they're all salaried. So there's a lot of great things at this facility, and part of that's because everybody's salaried and got benefits. And so this guy comes and gets next to me. And so, hey, not a problem. But in my mind, I'm thinking from a guest or a new person's perspective. Okay, now whatever. So there's a trainer. I've seen him before. He was working at the training station, whatever. And so he actually, when this happened, because we're the only 2 people in the whole area. Now, this is mid-afternoon. Me and this young guy. All right, so the trainer gets up and stands about 15 or 20 feet. Now, he thinks he's not obvious, but again, I know I'm auditing. I know what to look for. And so he's keeping an eye on the situation. All right, why? Because he knew that I'm a guest. That was my first time there. And many people, and this is what I mentioned, the whole people getting uncomfortable, whatever. Yes, I've been in gyms, again, forever. All right. But a new person, a new female, or perhaps even a senior citizen would have been in that situation and thought to themselves, no, what is this? There's all these different machines, and there's one just like the ones he's using. He could use some other machine. Why is he by me? That can make somebody, particularly if you're self-conscious, if you're insecure, if you get intimidated easily, like, what is going on? And that person, if that would have happened, if there would have been a problem, that member would not have come back. All right. And it happens daily at gyms and facilities and all types of studios across this country. Stuff as subtle as that. All right. I knew what was going on. I knew what the young man did, and kudos to him. And certainly that raised the level of accountability. And that's an example of accountability, but it raised the level of what goes on in that facility. Because again, why? He was monitoring the situation. He was watching. He was trying to make sure what's going on here. Make sure nothing erupts and gets out of control, because this person is new and we don't want them to have a bad experience and not come back here. So that's an example of accountability. But again, like I said, that trainer was salaried. If it was an independent contractor with no benefits and whatever, getting a cut, a check cut from the facility, a percentage of what the totally hourly rate charged, they wouldn't have likely been as motivated. Okay, your smaller facilities like your Planet, your Planet Fitness, your definitely your Anytime Fitness, you're going to see that level of, because these facilities are small, so stuff like that is going to be noticeable. All right. There's a wonderful article in Athletic Business back in 2006. Something that was pointed out was absolutely wonderful. It talked about facility risk and liability and things like that. Long story short, folks, particularly owners, much of what goes wrong in facilities is a result of supervisory negligence. All right, meaning there's where's management? Is management hiding in the offices? Do you have enough people on the floor monitoring what is going on in your facility? Because folks, this is huge. This is huge. Okay, whether it's, and the article talked about whether it's things getting stolen from locker rooms, whether, what happened to me with this, old psycho stalking me in the gym, or whether I've seen even with my own eyes, I had, other women in my gym complaining to me about men going up to the women's only section. Okay, I've seen that with my own eyes. All right, but why is that? Okay, because people know they can do it. All right, people in any gym, all right, any gym, corporate, private, community, church, whatever, people will try to get away with stuff. And so it's so important to always have employees monitoring, sweeping the floors. Planet Fitness does a real good job at that. Sweeping what's going on, maintaining control, okay, maintaining visibility, all right, of what's going on and those type of things, okay? If there's a man, in any type of facility with a women's only section, do you have people monitoring to make sure that it really is women's only? All right. And so, but that visibility is so important. Okay. Why does law enforcement, why do they do patrols? Why do they, just even driving around in their cars in a neighborhood helps to deter crime? Okay. Why? Visibility is so important because people know, people are watching. There's accountability. There's things like that. All right. And so, like I said, my gym's got a boatload of strengths here in Novi, but this aspect of just keeping an eye on things, and this aspect of leadership and supervisory, they've really, that's an area of growth and development for them to just, and there's a whole audit metric of how many members are on the floor versus employees. And I'm not talking about trainers, because trainers are involved and engaging as they should be with their trainees. All right, but how many other employees do you have on the field? What's being monitored? Do we have sweeps going on of each and every nook and cranny in this facility regularly throughout the day? But that's something that will keep you out of trouble, folks, because I don't want my gym in Novi, I don't want any gym, any facility, anywhere to have legal problems and liability problems and lawsuits filed against them, because it happens every day with this concept, as that article pointed out, just supervisory negligence. All right, but see, that's an example in this particular facility. They know that. They've got people on the floor, they've got people watching, they've got people engaged, and they've got people ready to act if there's a problem. But that keeps you out of trouble, but that keeps members, potential members, and all of that in your facility, which is where you want them to be. Loyalty does not come on its own. Bally Fitness, they created that. Lifetime memberships, but you've got to do a lot to maintain that. And so, folks, just remember, choose wisely. Think about the environment that you're going into, because there's so many different variations, there's so many different variables, but there's something that we all want to do. It's just be successful on our fitness journeys. Leaders and owners, you have a responsibility to create that. All right, you going in, you members and prospective members and fitness fanatics, you have a right to demand and expect the highest level of accountability, but also just a wonderful culture, because a culture and a wonderful environment will keep you coming back, will keep you coming back, will keep you coming back, will keep you active and keep you on track, because at the end of the day, that's all we want. That's all I want, folks, is for you to be happy, healthy, whole, and fit, because your life will never be the same once that's all achieved. So thanks so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.